The distress beacon had been silent for 3 cycles before Eli Grant's salvage vessel, the Wanderer's Hope, picked it up in the Scorius Belt. Out here, in the lawless fringe between civilized space and the void, distress signals meant one of 2 things: a genuine emergency or a pirate trap. Eli had survived 20 years in deep space by trusting his instincts, and something about this signal felt different. The coordinates led him to a shattered research station, its hull breached in a dozen places, spinning lazily against the backdrop of a crimson nebula. Eli maneuvered carefully through the debris field, magnetic grapples securing his ship to what remained of the station's docking port. Atmospheric integrity at 40%. His ship's AI chirped. Life signs detected. Multiple signatures, non-human. Eli checked his sidearm and stepped through the airlock. The station's corridors were dark except for emergency lighting that painted everything in shades of amber and shadow. He followed the life signs deeper into the facility, past laboratories with shattered containment fields and storage bays picked clean by scavengers. Then he heard it, a chirping sound, high-pitched and insistent. Eli rounded a corner and stopped dead. 3 creatures, each no larger than a house cat, huddled in what appeared to be a makeshift nest of insulation foam and thermal blankets. They had scales that shimmered between emerald and sapphire, translucent wings folded against their backs, and eyes that reflected his flashlight beam like molten gold. Dragons. Baby dragons. Impossible, Eli whispered. Dragons were myths, stories told by explorers who'd spent too long in hyperspace. Yet here they were, very real and very much alive. The largest of the 3, barely the size of Eli's forearm, tilted its head and made a sound halfway between a purr and a growl. Then impossibly a voice echoed in Eli's mind. Hungry. So hungry. You have food? Eli stumbled backward, his hand instinctively going to his weapon before he realized how absurd that was. The creature wasn't threatening him. It was begging. You can communicate? Eli asked aloud. Not speak. Think talk. The baby dragon's thoughts felt clumsy in his mind, like a child learning to write. Mother gone long time. We eat anything. Even your leftovers, please. Eli's heart clenched. Whatever had happened here, these creatures had been abandoned or orphaned. He accessed his emergency rations, protein bars, dried fruit, some jerky he'd been saving. He tossed a protein bar toward them. The 3 baby dragons converged on it like tiny, scaly piranhas. Within seconds, the bar was gone. They looked up at him with expectant eyes, and Eli found himself laughing despite the absurdity of the situation. All right. Let me see what else I've got. He spent the next hour feeding them, watching in fascination as they devoured everything he offered. They were playful, tumbling over each other, occasionally sending him fragmented thoughts, gratitude mostly, and an overwhelming sense of loneliness. Where's your mother? Eli asked, though he wasn't sure they'd understand. The largest dragon's thoughts turned somber. Mother hunting, many days. Station shook, fire, mother told us hide. She never came back. Eli's blood ran cold. The research station hadn't been abandoned, it had been attacked. And somewhere out there, an adult dragon was either dead or... The temperature in the corridor suddenly spiked. Eli's suit sensors screamed warnings as the very air began to shimmer. Then came a sound like thunder rolling through a canyon, and the wall at the far end of the corridor simply ceased to exist. What emerged defied description. Valora was massive, easily 60 feet from snout to tail, with scales that seemed to contain entire galaxies, swirling with colors Eli didn't have names for. Her wings, even folded, scraped the corridor ceiling. Her eyes were pools of ancient starlight, and when she fixed her gaze on Eli, he felt his very soul laid bare. The baby dragons squeaked in joy and scrambled toward her. Valora's expression, if such an alien face could have expressions, softened as her children reached her. She lowered her enormous head and they nuzzled against her, chirping their relief. Then those cosmic eyes turned back to Eli, and her voice filled his mind like a symphony. You fed my children. It wasn't a question. Eli could feel her presence in his thoughts, reading the past hour like an open book. He stood frozen, acutely aware that this creature could incinerate him with a thought. They were hungry, Eli said simply. I couldn't just leave them. Valora was silent for a long moment. Then something impossible happened. She bowed her head to him. The station was attacked while I hunted for food. I could not return until the threat had passed. I feared I had lost them. Her thoughts carried a weight of grief that made Eli's chest ache. In all my centuries, I have met few beings who would show kindness to creatures they do not understand. Fewer still among humans. Humans aren't all bad, Eli said, finding his courage. Most of us, anyway. Velora's laughter was like wind chimes made of crystal. No, you are not. She gestured with one massive claw, and suddenly Eli's sensors detected something he'd missed. A massive cargo bay, hidden behind a collapsed wall, filled with salvage worth more than his ship 10 times over. Take what you need, Eli Grant. Consider it payment for your kindness. And know this, you have a friend in the deep dark. Should you ever need aid, call my name to the stars, and I will hear you. As Eli departed the station, cargo bay full and 3 baby dragons waving goodbye from their mother's back, he realized something profound. In a universe filled with wonders and terrors, sometimes the greatest discovery wasn't a new world or advanced technology. Sometimes it was simply proof that compassion transcended species, language, and the vast distances between stars. And that, Eli thought with a smile, was worth more than all the salvage in the galaxy.